Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. I've taken a couple days off after we played Marvel's Civil War, and I oddly had more to complain about the story of Civil War than the table. The table still was insane and had problems, but I think the story has more insane problems. So we're going to do Starfighter Assault this time, and then we are bouncing back to the next Marvel thing, so that'll be Marvel Avengers, and then we'll do Excalibur. But right now, Star Wars.
Starfighter Assault.
Let's see what the achievements are. Collect 100 commendations with your pilot with one ball. Interesting. It must be really easy to get accommodations if they want you to get 100 of them. Win the battle near the unfinished Death Star 2 at the end of the 6th Fleet mission in Star Wars. Alright, so that's going to be impossible, but we do know now that there are 5 missions before that. This is another one of those split tables in the design, I can already tell. Left side is red, right side is blue. It makes it very, very difficult to look at the table. Balance of the Force was the same way, and even though that table had some interesting ideas, I just couldn't play it. And here we are, we're getting an intro again, and that's totally unacceptable, because are we going to look at this intro every single time? Like, am I going to have to press launch to begin every single time? This isn't pinball. This is a cutscene in a pinball game. This is insanity. And then it just goes to this. Alright. So the artwork is kind of cool. You got a Rebel fighter and a TIE fighter on either side, but it is really just this hard line where they cut it off, and then on the upper play field it's changed, and the backboard is completely missing, so you see that sky, which is a slightly interesting idea. It's not hopefully going to be too much of a distraction. I don't know particularly what I'm looking at there. Oh, it's a hand. Now once it's zoomed out, so a hand on the trigger for the slingbacks on either side. That's going to be weird gameplay. There's a cannon that probably shoots the ball. There's a tube there that either feeds into that ramp or comes back. There's another cannon there. Are there any pop-up bumpers? No, it looks like there might be. The mission start is way up there. That upper playfield looks very strange to have a like off-kilter both left and right flipper. Oh, there are some pop-up bumpers over there on the top right. So I think I've seen enough here to at least understand. So I hit. Okay, so we have to choose our side.
The Galactic Empire.
TIE Fighter or the Empire?
The Alliance.
Or the Alliance, whatever it's called. Let's start with the Alliance. I just wanted to change my camera angle, first of all. Left flipper targets view. So what am I supposed to do here? Launch the ball. What am I doing? Like, I don't even know what that is. So like, you're some kid, you walk up to a pinball table, assuming this was a real pinball table, and you have no idea what you're even supposed to do. That as the very first action. That's not great. So, since this table is kind of dedicated to the space battles of the Star Wars original series, and I really hate this table art now that you just see that straight line on it. The red and the blue is not anywhere as offensive as the fact that the person is just cut in half. I don't know why you even need this person here, because he's not even, at least to me, recognizable as a important character. So there's a magnet on that flipper. That's not gonna turn out well. So then hitting up that ramp will put the ball on the other flipper. So I have to do something like that, then that, left and right. Really fast and rather precisely. I suppose the idea of the space battles is not a bad idea, and I guess that center lane there changes the, like, again, what am I supposed to do here? Doesn't seem like anything changes. Do I have a skill shot? So the center lane seems to be this ever-changing, like, ramp that puts you in different places. Having the spaceships fly over the table is a mess, but doing it right when you're on this upper play field with the bumpers actually makes this work pretty well, because it might be a problem in multi-ball, but if you're just playing one ball, you just keep your eyes on the ball and ignore the ships flying around and all that animation. I don't know if I can hit this center lane right now. It's an interesting ramp there on the right to get up to the bumpers. So yeah, it just changes it. It puts it in a different place. But none of the places it really puts it matter that much. It's effectively a diverter that you can't control. It actually might be a decent thought as a diverter, because it moves the ball around in a figure-8 motion. Well, not a true figure-8 motion, but a modified one, because there's 3 different places it can go. And it keeps the ball moving around into different places on the table. But it seems like there isn't too much else here. We've got to start those missions, and to shoot those missions I have to hit those drop-down targets right there, which means I have to get the ball to that top left flipper, which is probably going to be close to impossible. The center lane here is pretty narrow to get up into that upper play field. Again, still not sure what I'm doing here. Maybe that is the skill shot. And then the ramps on the left and the ramps on the right. It feels almost like everything in the upper play field is an entirely separate concept. And the main concept of the game is the upper play field, and everything else is just, oh, we added some bumpers and ramps and things, just some standard I almost said Lego there. Standard pinball things. Seems like the ball just jumped in the air, and that would be the first time I've seen that happen. And in fact, I'm surprised I haven't seen. There we go.
Enemy waves closing in. Do your best, and may the force be with you.
Enemy fighters approaching.
Okay, this is now. I'm moving them left and right, and I'm pressing launch to fire.
Enemy fighters approaching.
This isn't pinball. This is not the game They should be on Pinball FX2
Enemy
or
fighters
1
approaching.
or 3. This is a far cry from a dot matrix level, but I mean, I suppose
Enemy fighters approaching.
since this is supposed to be maybe the next generation, the pinball that doesn't have to be real, I could kind of see. I still lost there. I could kind of see having a little dot matrix thing on there, but I don't think there's enough missions to justify having something that's just that odd. That's 1 of 5 missions, and it involves 0 pinball playing. If it was 1 of 12 different modes, that'd be fine. And if it wasn't a mission in itself, I might be a little bit more generous to it. But
The rebellion will need time to recover from this.
So 5 million on the first to try. Let's restart here and see what this. First launch.
The Galactic Empire.
Play as the Empire this time. And then we launch from this side. Interesting. Let's look at the table guide now. Fleet mission. Take on various missions as a pilot of your chosen fleet. Almost every mission consists of multiple phases. If you complete one phase but subsequently fail the mission, it will resume. So that means there's at least 10 phases here, maybe 15 phases, maybe 18 phases, if there's 3 phases per each of the 6 missions, including the final one. So fighter confrontation is phase 1, which we played, and then phase 2, help your fighters in the intense battles by shooting the ramps. Okay. Fighter assault, hit the ramps. Fighter phase 2, hit the other ramps. Hit whatever's flashing in flight back. Able helmsman, hit those fewer things that will flash. Able helmsman phase 2 is controlling this turret to shoot. Capture assault phase 1, go up these ramps. Phase 2, go up those ramps. It's all going to be ramps. Over and over we see this on the tables. Every mission is just hit that flashing thing. Although we're seeing something different here with a lot of different non-pinball games here. Let's see. Protect it. It gets ways of attacking whatever. Phase 3 of the Death Star Assault, hit all those things. Pilot ranking. After each successful mission and down fighter and enemy ship, you earn experience points. After accumulating a certain amount, they promote. Multi-ball becomes available. So you get experience points? Is that what that number is in the lower left-hand corner? Interesting. This is insane though for a pinball game, getting experience points. You could make a fantasy-themed game or an RPG-themed game and maybe play around with XP, but I would just say your score should be your XP. Getting a second currency in the form of experience points seems insane. The only currency that really ever exists in pinball is your score that always goes up. Maybe like the number of balls you lock to some smaller scale, but that all just adds to the score. After each successful mission, down fighter enemy capital ship, you own a accommodation as well. You can use these to upgrade in the upgrade panel to buy various enhancements. What in the world are you even talking about, game? This is supposed to be pinball. Fleet strength. Based on your progress on the 2-phase things, you shift that bar left and right, okay. All save fails of shooting. The upper orbit 6 consecutive times by factory default. First time any of the tables have ever talked about factory default. You get a ball save. After spelling failsafe, you have to shoot one of the orbits to activate the failsafe at that time. Random award is there. Bonus multiplier, shooting down all the states of the drone ramp will grant you increased multiplier. So you have to go through that 3 times before you get a bonus multiplier. So that center lane, if you were an expert at this time, just go up that center lane over and over again, shooting the upper mini orbit to score a skill shot, then hit the first mission starter to get a super skill shot. Alright. Figured that one out. Hyperspace hurry-ups. Squad missions by hitting these, shooting the 3 targets. Or like the squad missions, hold shooting the ball and it will start a random squad mission. Each mission has a pilot rank requirement. The mode won't be available unless you've acquired it previously. This almost feels like it's going to be something you unlock over playing multiple games. Rank 1 Dogfighter, rank 2 that, rank 3 that, rank 4 that, rank 5 that, rank 6 that. So each of these modes will activate after you've spelled the word and shot the ball in the operations hole. Spelling modes. Upgrade after activation, upgrading card and weapon. You can spell your combinations upgrades. Promote after activating the hole will lock the ball. If you have enough experience to promote, the promotion multi-ball will start. So very well may never get the promotion multi-ball. Repair, evade, more modes. There's a lot of missions here. Fleet multi-ball, shooting the ball into the center hole 7 times before you locks it. Periodic missions or missions. These missions will automatically become active from time to time. Enemy reinforcements, bombardment, assault. So, like, literally no skill to start those missions and these periodic missions. They just happen. Is there even a set time when they happen? Or is it purely random? So I'm playing as the other side now, the Empire, and the score is still on the left side. And I'm gonna have to get really, really good at hitting that ramp over there. And that's gonna be really difficult. That there is a ramp back there, isn't there? It's just kind of hard to see. So this table's insane. Is it more insane than Civil War? I think it kind of is. Like, Civil War had this multi-ball mode that only happened at the very beginning of your game, and then there was no way to get multi-balls, it seemed like, and then the other time, and it was asking you to do an incredibly large amount of stuff and slowing down the ball for the fights. But this one, I think, takes the prize because in at least this example, you're so often gonna not even be playing pinball. Let's see, hitting that mission start thing is your only goal. And we've seen this on multiple tables that Zen has made. Just a default pinball mode that really can't get you very high score and really can't do anything for you until you hit that one target. All those missions we've seen, and the only way to really start any of them is getting this rather difficult cross shot from the upper plate. And I can hit the pop-up bumpers all I want. We'll try
Disarm that
mission 2
vessel.
here.
I want them alive.
This is weird. Okay, cloning, you only have a limited amount of times to hit all these lanes. Alright.
Commendations received.
Stay with me.
So I'm trying to hit these lanes.
Nice shooting.
So I need the outer ramp spinner.
Jackpot increased.
Avoid unlit lanes, it says. Is that just a general tip, or is it because if I hit an unlit
Good
lane,
shot.
it will penalize me in some way?
Keep it together.
It says 3 fighters remaining.
You have failed me.
So I failed that mission. Not really surprised. I know all these tables I fail missions like crazy, and even if I had succeeded on that part, that's just phase 1 of a 2-phase system. If they were going to have so many tables that were so focused around multi-phase missions, why not end the mission when you drain the ball? How about just give the option to say hold left flipper to restart previous mission? Why not be a little nicer? So we're back to the normal mode where the only thing I really can hit that matters is the mission start sync down. This ramp over here on the left is a little too angular.
You
It's a little
have
too
failed the
sharp.
Empire.
So I will, I guess, accommodate him when you're playing as the Empire. You're not getting too negative of a response there. The table did not explain any of this, by the way, because there's nothing to explain. It's just an animation that means nothing, apparently. The upper playfield flippers are right in the wrong way, so I have to get really good at flapping the triggers, because if I sit there and wait, the upper playfield flippers will be in the way.
Commendations received.
See, this middle ramp is the only one that really gets the ball locked into that magnet. And then I have to get really good with that left shot, and I'm not doing it. There's quite a few places on this table where the ball comes out through under a ramp or through a secret metal flap that diverter. Like when you hit the loop on the right, it comes out through a diverter. So there's paths that can't go back, which is something new. I haven't seen it used incredibly often in sim tables. Not that it's an interesting element by any sense. It's actually rather boring. It would be more interesting to not have the diverters there. Pretty much the only reason why the diverters are there probably just to keep the ball from getting stuck, or for it to be more linear in your gameplay. The ramp in the middle on the left there goes nowhere. It just feeds back to the flipper. It looks nice, and it's, I suppose, pretty well balanced with the right side, but it doesn't do anything. I really don't like the hands on the slingshots, but it's just kind of, I visually don't like the way it looks. And same way as I really dislike the art on the film.
Commendations received.
There's a lack of missions being listed unless it's the colorful lights on the guy's chest plate. Maybe those light up when you do a mission. Hey, more for extra ball. says. We've got the Star Wars music playing again. Couldn't they think of something else? I mean, seriously. Do they need to play the Star Wars music in every freaking single table? The same music, it seems like. I bet it's not even the same music. I bet it is different variations of the same song. And they just overplay it so much. I suppose it's interesting to mention that right now, they just announced with the Mission 3
Even with fighting conditions,
that
you need those
Razer,
ships to win this.
which is owned by Dell, or at least it was last I heard, has bought THX from Lucas Arts, George Lucas's company. THX was his big push to improve audio in movies when it first came out. I don't know if it's really been doing too much lately. It's more about Dolby
Approaching
Digital
hangar bay for emergency landing.
and, let's see, Dolby Atmos. But what's the other company that fights them? DTS? One of those may have been THX, but I don't think so. There's two
Ready to launch.
competing standards on audio, and most surround sound receivers will play at least some level of the standards for both. I cannot think of what the other one is.
Approaching hangar bay for emergency landing.
Dolby Pro Logic 2. No, I keep thinking Dolby everything. Dolby has so many different standards. The other one does too. You know what I can do? I can look at my remote control for my surround sound receiver. Which
Rebellion
is
will need time to recover from this.
Let's just turn on my surround sound receiver. Oops. ProLogic, surround sound ProLogic 2, Neo 6 Cinema. Yeah, it's Neo 6 Cinema. That's kind of old. And let's see. Apparently I need to also let's play the game too, but apparently I need to download an update on my surround sound receiver. Let's see. New firmware available. I have a Panasonic. Let me just turn that off and get back to it. So my whole point in that conversation, and I guess that says I'm really starting to get really bored on these tables pretty early here. We've only been playing for like 24 minutes. Is that George Lucas is no longer in charge of THX, and Razer is kind of a company that just sells on a brand name and doesn't really have the quality that it should for that brand name. So you may see THX in the future labeled on products and it won't that much. Or maybe they'll do great things with it. I don't know. I think probably the reason why George Lucas sold it is he doesn't want to really be in charge of anything anymore. He's old and he's kind of trying to retire, and frankly people don't want him to be in charge, and he knows it. Not since the prequels, episode 1 through 3. The one thing he is trying to do is he's trying to get a museum made somewhere to like celebrate cinematography and all that. and people, everywhere he tries to put it, people keep complaining and saying, not in my backyard. I don't know why, per se. He keeps trying to put it in places that are surrounded by rich people that don't
Shoot
want
the orbits to
a bunch
protect
of
the
people
ship.
coming to that area. So he's having trouble getting zoned and improved, which is ironic considering that if somebody got in a different state from where he's trying zone approval to build a gigantic ark like from Noah's flood. But I guess that was in the middle of nowhere. Apple has kind of the same problem too. It took a lot more work than you would have thought just for them to find a place where they can build their new headquarters that they're building. I used to buy Denon surround sound amplifiers, and nowadays I don't even use surround sound ever because I'm recording most of the time. It's impossible for me to record in like 5.1 or 7.1, even if the game supports it, because my software only does stereo, and most games only do stereo too. Plus, if I did record in that way, I would have really, really powerful
We have incoming! All hands to battle stations!
speakers blaring into my microphone, making it awful. But the latest one, which is a couple years old, I decided to finally go with a Pioneer? No, a Yamaha. Totally wrong there.
Stay with me.
A Yamaha surround sound receiver because Denon's, at least at the time, seemed to have trouble acting as a switcher for the video through HDMI and decoding the HDMI audio. And I've been very happy with the Yamaha surround sound because it downloads new firmware updates through the internet and does a lot of streaming features, and overall I think it's given itself very useful, which is kind of ironic because I only use it now to switch the video input, and I don't even use it to amplify speakers.
Stay with me.
But I still am pretty happy with it.
Jackpot increased.
Again, I'm not talking about this table. What more can I say about this thing? There is definitely... I'm very confused about that first achievement, getting 100
Keep it together.
medals. That seems crazy. I'm trying to hit these ramps. I hate going up
Trigger
the ramp halfway.
regroup. We have to
and
come up with a better plan.
The rebellion will need time to recover.
There aren't even sensors on the table that indicate how far the ball would have to go for it to count. It just knows whether the ball went the whole way or not.
The Galactic Empire.
Empire again, and shoot. Let's focus on the game here and see if we can get a slightly better high score. It's slightly interesting that Disney didn't buy THX. I mean, that would make more sense. Disney does try to experiment with new technologies, and there's Disney Labs, and their movies and cartoons would certainly benefit from new audio technologies. They did Fantasia, and that was a long time ago, unless you're talking Fantasia 2000, which was still a long time ago. But the point is that whole thing was a musical. A lot of their things are musicals. Yeah, that makes no sense. Maybe George Lucas just wanted more money, or didn't want to deal with Disney, or Disney didn't think they needed it.
Multiplier increase.
I wish they would improve the audio of like how it sounds in the
Enemy
theaters.
fighters approaching.
But a lot of times there's so much equipment running the speakers in theaters, and it's so misconfigured, it doesn't sound anywhere as good as you can get it if you put the effort in your own house. I guess
Your
we're back
mission is to
one.
intercept the approaching rebels. I expect
I have a
flawless
different-
execution.
different-
The Empire despises
Nope,
Enemy fighters approaching.
Commendations received.
Enemy fighters approaching.
The weird thing here is that you really can't hit the A button fast enough to hit this whole
Enemy fighters approaching.
set. I can get like 4 out of 6. Do I crash into it?
Commendations received.
So the phase was won. We finally succeeded.
Power
at
on the
something.
turrets and shoot down those rebel fighters.
So now we're into phase 2, which I guess now that we're on phase 2, if I die, I should start phase 1 over again.
Promotion available.
So there's,
Nice shooting.
I'm trying to shoot the out lanes here, and not the center lane. Not that either.
Failsafe
That
activated.
out lane. Now I need to hit the other out lane. Did I get it? Now I've got some more ramps. Keep going up the ramps.
Commendations received.
So now it wants me to kind of go left and right. There we go. Extra time. So I'm going left and right, but what am I doing, really? Are we succeeding or are we failing?
You have failed me.
I guess I'm failing. I have 47 XP for that. So I did something. There was a recent joke about how in the first 3 original movies, the Alliance with just TIE Fighters managed to destroy 3 Death Stars, I think. And so obviously the Empire needs to invest heavily into TIE Fighters because their fighting machine force is not anywhere as good. Of course, when you really get down to it, it's through the actions of like 6 characters that the entire Empire's efforts of hundreds of workers is ruined. Maybe the Empire just doesn't have very good workers, doesn't pay very well or something, I don't know. Shoddy craftsmanship everywhere, perhaps? Maybe internal sabotage? That would be an interesting tale to try and tell, is just how half the stormtroopers are sympathetic to the Alliance and they're intentionally missing. So phase 2
Power
of
on the
mission
turrets
1
and shoot
again.
down those rebel fighters.
Again, same issue as I suspected we were going to have. Just planes flying over their table, adding little bits of distractions.
Nice shooting.
Promotion available.
Promotion available. Nice to know. So I'm just trying to hit the flashing lanes like the game is telling me. Hoping it succeeds. So, 1-5. Apparently our fleet strength is getting stronger. So I'm getting all this extra time. I don't know if I'm succeeding or failing or what. It feels like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. Like I'm trying to make shots I can't even make. Either the ball to go to the other side or something. Let me hit
The Empire despises weakness.
So I think I'm about to run out of time. Keep getting extra time. What am I doing?
You have failed me.
I'm failing. I'm still failing. I don't even know what I'm doing. It didn't seem like I was...
You have failed the Empire.
I don't... What was I supposed to do there? I'm getting points, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Enemy fighters approaching.
And it's not getting any better.
Skill shot.
Got a skill shot at least. At least I can get a skill shot. Am I going to be able to get a multi-ball? No. Am I going to be able to move to phase 2 of any of the other missions? I don't even know if I'm going to make it to another mission. We're at about 45 minutes of play. I'm pretty done with this table. There's just... It's just a mission trap all over again. It's like, hit this incredibly different shot to start a mission, and then do these incredibly difficult missions. And if you can't start a mission, well, then you don't get to see a sixth of the game, or maybe 5/6 of the game, potentially. Now, you actually see very little of the game if you couldn't start a mission. Because none of the other modes really are available. Hit up these ramps multiple times, more than is reasonable. 5-6 times hit the sinkhole target. 5-6 times go up the ramp. I probably in the last game played for 20 minutes and barely achieved anything. Select mission, we'll
Aim
do
for the
mission
turrets.
2
Keep the
again.
casualties at a minimum.
These ships flying in on the sides, it's dumb. See, what a real pinball table would do here, not having the opportunity to have 3D models disappear. They would
Target disabled.
recollect what's happening
Stay with
through
me.
the audio. Through really good audio. And there's video playing in the lower playfield for a second.
Keep
there.
it together.
You can see it right now. And You would never do that. That's just a huge distraction, right? Well, you don't want a distraction. I just got 5 million for something. I don't even know
Commendations received.
So,
Keep it together.
so many of these missions are just
Trigger
go up
regroup.
the
We have
ramp.
to come up with a better plan.
Just be really good at hitting every single ramp. I mean, be an expert at it, basically. A lot of these tables have zero appeal to new pinball players, I would say. Other than perhaps people just getting suckered in the fact that it's a Star Wars license and buying it. Which is kind of what it feels like they're doing here, is they're just churning out bad tables and selling on the name, which I guess is in line with Star Wars. They've been churning out merchandise and selling on the name of Star Wars for
Keep
a
them in
long
fighting condition.
time.
We need those ships to win this.
But if you're new to pinball and you tried to play this game, you'd be totally lost. If you're moderately good at pinball, like I would classify myself, you're not going to be very happy with the table because you're going to know what you're missing. Maybe a new pinball player wouldn't even realize that how much you're missing here with the lack of a reasonable multi-ball. I haven't locked a single ball. The lack of a lot of things to do. There's no real interesting gimmick on this table. A diverter on the center lane is alright, but it
Rebellion will
doesn't
need
do
time to
much.
recover from this.
So, and then there's just a bunch of animation and shooting, and way too many reuses of
Enemy fighters approaching.
just on-screen mini games. I could allow one, but there's like 3 of them here. It's also more difficult to get the skill shot from the left side than it is the right side. And see, the super skill shot on a lot of these tables should start a mission as an extra bonus. That would at least allow the expert players to be able to start a mission easier. Here I've got to get the ball up there and into that cross shot. 7 more for extra ball. There we go. Let's do mission 4.
I'm taking command. Shoot the orbits to charge our defenses.
The XP system, the upgrade system, complete red herrings as far as I'm concerned. You're never gonna see any use out of it. The art is ugly. Thematically, what's the story here? You're just
Finish now.
doing dogfights, and that's it.
All power to the
We don't
port side
know
deflectors.
which battle this is supposed to represent, or if it's supposed to be multiple battles, or training missions, or what. Like, we kind of have no clue on any of that. We don't know what character we're playing
Blast
as.
away with the turrets.
And so we're getting instructions from voice actors that maybe represent somewhat recognizable characters from the movie, but I couldn't really tell you. Is it the guy that says it's a trap, the fish-headed guy,
All hands
when you
brace
play
for
as the
collision.
Innocent
Go.
Alliance? It
Do
kind
not
of sounds
lose
like
my
him.
ship.
That may very well be who's talking when you play as Alliance, and then it may be the guy who is either under or maybe
now.
above Darth Vader. At a certain
Blast
point, I
away
heard
with the turrets.
the guy above Darth Vader was just this normal-looking guy. On the Empire side. I don't have a really big complaint about the lack of a backboard here. It works fine, particularly since I play with this camera mode and I don't even see the backboard until the bell rolls up there. So no real complaint about that, but I'm still finding a lot to complain about all these tables. Is there too many ramps? Not really. Maybe one too many. One of them is definitely too sharp, and it just has a really sharp curve to it. It's not even a sharp angle upward. It's really easy for the ball to lose momentum and come back on that ramp that I just shot. I like the upper playfield bumpers. They work fine. If they weren't blasting laser beams, that would be okay with that. There we go. Start mission 5.
Incoming enemy vessel. Prepare for combat.
I suppose it's probably a good idea to, like, both of these ships probably should be on the playfield, and thus you would actually see them in a real world pinball table instead of just showing up.
Failsafe activated.
Oops. There's this ring here.
You have
that looks
failed
like
me.
it would go down at some point on the ramp on the right, but I never saw how that would happen, or if it does happen. But it would probably be worth your while to always start mission 1, because if you start mission 1, you then get to play a completely different game that it's probably easier than the pinball. If you just look at the score. But yeah, there's nothing here that makes me want to play it. I'm not really hurt by the red-blue score. It looks ugly, but it wasn't as dark of a red or as bright of a blue as it was in the bounce of the fourth table. Alright, so that's 52 minutes. We got 15 million top high score for Star Wars Starfighter Assault. That adds to our other tables, gives us a super score of 1,497. That multiplies by the 37 tables we've played now to give me a wizard score of 55,389, which is cool. Again, next time we'll play Marvel Avengers, and maybe I'll find I dislike that even more than I dislike this one, which is a good possibility because I really don't hate this table, I just really don't like it. I don't think I'd ever play it again, but there's no real passion dislike there. It's real sad. I'm having to make the argument here that there's only two types of tables here. Tables I passionately hate and tables that I'm mostly neutral but still don't like. And that's not completely true. There are a few tables I like, but they are few and far between. The all-time high score here, we have 2 billion, 2 billion, 2 billion, 1.6 billion, 1.3 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion. I could see, well, I mean, if I'm going to believe this one, which is 300 million difference, is legitimate, then I kind of have to believe that this one's legitimate, and this one's legitimate, and this one's legitimate too. But I guess if I throw out the difference of 300 million, then I would say this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one are legitimate. So I would say either you believe they're all real, nobody cheated on the one, which can't possibly be the case because everybody's been cheating on these leaderboards, or you believe that it starts with number 6. And getting 1 billion on that table, yeah, that seems real, possible. Here you can clearly see the large gap on the super score, which doesn't seem to really change, and I guess it won't ever change. You may come back to look at these leaderboards like a year later, and it may very well be the same. It may very well be that they've turned off the servers and they've simply locked down everything. No friends to challenge, no Pinball King, and the localized score I got the top score of 1 million, so they didn't even expect you to get over 1 million. I beat it by 15 times that. So, no achievements, not really surprising. No tournaments, and they're never going to happen again, I'm sure. So, another disappointing Star Wars license. It's kind of a shame. And I wish I could remember that competing standard from Dolby, but for the life of me, I cannot. I think it's DTS, but I don't know what DTS stands for. Anyways, that doesn't matter. We're done with this recording. Next time we do Avengers, then we do Excalibur. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.